You know what I mean? If we so strong as gangs and as hustlers and as G's and as thugs or whatever, it should be no rapes, there should be no violence, there should be no gunshots in our community unless we the ones sparking it, unless we doing that to somebody that's trying to infiltrate or break down our community. All this money that we make in the streets, we should bring it back and turn it back into the community. We need to have block parties again. We need to have leagues, you know, summer leagues and football teams and basketball teams. We need to start taking care of our own. That's how it can be positive. It can be positive when we start sending these young G's to school, sending the younger G's to college. You know, let them come back and build something. I do believe that there's a piece of liability on the drug dealers and the gangsters and the gangs and all of that, but these are not scholars. You know what I mean? We pay taxes. When the people in LA, after the rebellion, when we stopped and there was a truce, nothing happened. Did we get any jobs? No. Did we get any relief? No. But every time there's a flood, an earthquake, or a thunderstorm, America will give mad millions to somebody because their house broke down. They don't care if we stop the violence or not. They don't care about gang violence. You know what I mean? Every time that Bosnia gets shot up, any place gets shot up, they send them a whole bunch of millions in food and packages from Somalia, everywhere. Everybody getting food but us. So we don't want the gang violence to stop. So they can't ask me to tell them to stop the violence, because I can't tell nobody who's hungry what to do unless I'm ready to feed them. Then I'll tell them what to do.
Pay my bills with jack money. Police wanna take my scraps from me. All they catching is cats and half dummies. Niggas wishing I was getting caught, but not now. Interference, then you getting shot, but blah, blah.
I know when I was young, the way they described jail, I couldn't wait to get to jail. Straight up. That's where you get the gang. That's where you got more soldiers at that build you. But now that I'm here, this is not the spot. I know everybody go to jail, come out and say, this ain't the spot. This is not the spot. You got somebody that tells you when you can get up, when you can shower, when you can do this, when you can do that. You know, they can speak to you any way they want to, and you gotta accept it. You can die here, you know what I mean? Just yesterday, a dude was murdered. He wasn't in here on no murder beef. This dude was in here on a drug beef. You know, he's gone, he's dead in jail.
Before Tupac was tragic, he was famous. And before he was famous, he was in trouble. Trouble gave him his fame. After a 1994 allegation of sexual misconduct and a shooting which nearly took his life, he was sent to prison and forced to look inward and live day to day.
For the first 8 months, I spent in solitude, 23 hours a day locked down, reading, writing. I read a lot of good books. I read a lot of Maya Angelou's books, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, listen to music, you know, different types of music, calm my soul. Dionne Farris, she really got me through a lot of this time.
The days creep by so slow, he started living in reverse, visiting episodes from his past, venturing into a whole new creative form.
I wrote a script called Live to Tell. I used to always add things to like poetic justice. I added my own words to poetic justice. I wrote whole scenes in Above the Rim. In Juice, I used a lot of my own words. This was the first time that I actually sat down and write a whole script.
He had determined years earlier that his war was to be fought using the weapons of media. Beyond the vanity of it, he recognized the power that film had to reach large numbers of people. He also saw that true creative power was wielded from behind the camera. Already in his arsenal were acting and rapping, but there was ambition for much more.
Oh, no doubt. You can look forward to me doing movies, writing movies, starring in movies. Soon I want to direct them. You can look forward to me doing records, bringing on a whole bunch of groups. I already got a few now. I just signed to Death Row Records.
Forced into a focus by unfilled time, he began to fixate on his purpose. But stuck in the moment behind bars, music was nowhere to be found at first.
Everybody's like, oh man, he's in jail now. I know he's gonna come out, he's gonna have a bomb album, but it's the opposite. Prison kills your spirit, straight up. It kills your spirit. There is no creativity, there's none of that. You know, I see a lot of it in other prisoners. They got artists in here, they got poets in here, you know, but as far as me, it just killed my spirit. I couldn't write. I only recently started writing, and besides the script was just like flashing back to my own life, so it didn't really take too much for me to be inspired by. But in terms of writing music and lyrics, I didn't have that, I couldn't do it. Now, I just, you know, finished a couple of tracks, so that's good, but it doesn't really inspire creativity.
One motivating factor was those he perceived had put him where he was. Not just those who had put him in prison, but also the New York crew of rappers that he saw as the ones behind his 1994 shooting. The East Coast-West Coast War, which would define the second half of his career, was taking shape.
I just thought about how it would change. What would I do? How can I make them sorry that they ever did this to me? You know what I mean? How can I come back like 50 times stronger and better? And also for the people out there, we need to start supporting not every black person that go to jail or get into trouble, but the ones that you know didn't do it. You know what I mean? I feel like people know I didn't do this. They saying right now, they still say Tupac Shakur, rape charge. I'm not convicted of no rape charge. I want to make that real clear. My charge was sexual abuse, forcibly touching the buttocks. That's what they charged me. I'm innocent of that, but that's what I'm in jail for. You understand?
In 1995, Suge Knight posted a $1.4 million bail for Tupac. He was to become the jewel in death row's crown. His time in Clinton Correctional would be a badge of honor, but also a memory where the mystique of prison life meant blunt reality.
Do not come to jail. Do everything you can to make it around the system, over the system, or in the system. But don't come to jail. It's not the spot. It's little 17-year-old kids up in here, you know what I mean? With 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. And I'm surrounded by dudes doing life that's 60 years, that's as young as me or younger. You know what I mean? That made a mistake when they was young kids, and they stuck forever. I'm a messenger, you know, I come and I tell you what's going on. If I went to a club, I'll tell you the club is popping, or the club is sorry. I came to jail, I'm telling you straight up, this ain't the spot. It's dirty, it's filthy, it's like you an animal. You know what I mean? And it's just not the spot. No man don't want to be here. No man or woman wants to be here.
On every block, corner, street, my concrete niggas have it working heat. Grinding in Compton, Watts, Carson, Venice, Beach, SC.
When I said I was living the thug life, believe me, it was all real.
There's a kind of fascination with the thug.
As sure as thug life is tattooed across my stomach, it will always be a part of me.
Tupac Shakur represented at once the expression of the evil that needed to be resisted and the need to resist that evil. This is why people were so upset with him.
Just recently, this lady wrote me named Clovis Benjamin from San Francisco. And she was writing me, telling me about her nephew had just been killed. The day before he died, he was like, I'm going to get Tupac's new tape. So she wrote me to tell me, you know, they played Dear Mama at the funeral, boom, boom. And that touched me, you know, and I was like, what can I do? Is there anything I can do? Let's do some concerts, let's do some organizing. I was like, if she's strong enough to keep going and make a difference, then I can be strong enough to make a difference. And that kind of focuses me back on what I should be doing and not let me like veer off back into the lifestyle I was living, because it's real easy to do that.
On the one hand, he could articulate somebody dying, somebody wanting to die, somebody believing he or she was going to die, and the suffering that that encouraged. On the other hand, he could so hopelessly, nihilistically, some might argue, engage in the very things that would lead to their deaths.
A lot of people try to put out the bad things, try to, you know, say he did this, who really know, you know?
These opposing forces, rooted in his two-headed father and mother, left Tupac in a constant state of contradiction, both within himself and to the rest of the world. The two wills formed a destructive combination.
In the sense that within Tupac himself was both the possibility of the solution as well as the contradiction of that solution.
Once you get people exploring who they are, their emotions, their love, their pain, their power, then they start examining who they are and how they contribute or serve humanity, how you're either problem or solution, and you make a conscious choice.
While his life tended to be problematic, he was always looking for that solution, a way to marry his two worlds, the thug and the soldier. His conclusion, that they were one and the same.
Now, if we do want to live the thug life and the gangster life and all of that, okay, so stop being cowards and let's have a revolution. But we don't want to do that. Dudes just want to live a character. They want to be cartoons. But if they really wanted to do something, they was that tough. All right, let's start our own country. Let's start a revolution. Let's get out of here. Let's do something. But they don't want to do that. They want to pimp our communities and portray this image that they know we all can't survive and make it. And that's what I saw. Now, if I was dumb, it'd be cool. It wouldn't be my fault. But it's my fault because I'm smarter than that. I do have another way I can say this. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that way no more. It just means is that let me be as smart as them or smarter.
Tupac began to believe that you could both